Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at the Inkclaw Phoenix battery grips. This is the 1.5 and this is the 2.0. The one is for standard needles and the other one is for cartridges. Inkclaw did send me these to review, and I do have a discount code for anything on the Inkclaw site. It will save you 15% on your entire order. I believe the discount code is Tyler Nicholas. I will leave all that information down in the video description for you to check out. So starting out with price, the 1.5, which is for the standard needles, that is $169. And for the 2.0, that is for the cartridges, this one is $189. The Phoenix battery grip goes under your machine just like any other grip, but the difference is with this one you have a magnetic cable coming out of the top that connects with this RCA or a standard clip cord connection that then hooks into your machine to power it. Keeping the weight of the battery off of the back of the machine is definitely a really welcomed idea, especially with machines that have the RCA coming out of the back of the machine. Batteries then tend to elongate the machine, which then make the back weight kind of a little bit more than it should be. So moving on to some specs. Both grips are the same size and weight. We have 83 millimeters as the height, 34.5 millimeters as the width, and weighing it at 126 grams. They both have a 1300 milliamp hour battery, and they claim that the battery will last about 3 to 4 hours while tattooing, depending on the speed that you run your machine, obviously. They do charge within 30 to 40 minutes from 0% to 100% battery, and their voltage range is anywhere from 3 to 15 volts. They have a very simple user interface. The big button down the bottom, you long press it to turn the grip on, and then a short press will start and stop the machine. The arrow buttons up top are how you move your voltage up and down. On the little LCD screen, if the lightning bolt is showing, that means there will be a jump start when you turn the machine on. Hold both the up and down arrows down together to toggle this feature on and off. If you're using a coil machine, make sure that the jump start feature is off because the jump start feature is not good for coil machines. The Jumpstart feature is when you're using cartridges with a tougher membrane, so when you turn the machine on, it helps it turn over quicker and doesn't put as much strain on the machine's motor. This is with the Jumpstart. You can hear that the voltage goes right at the beginning, and then this is with no Jumpstart feature. It just turns the machine on. I only use cartridges, so I have not tried the 1.5, which is the standard needle version of this grip, but I was pleased to see that the middle part of the grip comes out fully to be autoclaved on the standard version by removing this small screw on the back and then just sliding the tube out of the middle of the battery grip. Also on the cartridge version, you're able to unscrew the tip and properly clean that, and the stem comes out on the cartridge version as well. When I first took a look at these grips online, my only concern was how they would be properly cleaned, but I think they did do a decent job at making it to where you are able to properly clean these grips. For the cartridge version of these grips, you'll basically treat it like you would a pen machine, making sure not to touch the stems of your cartridges to avoid cross-contamination when you're putting them up inside of the tube. Now, an issue that I did run into was the buttons and the digital readout on the actual grip. I think this might encourage people to not wrap this grip while they're tattooing because they want to see the buttons and the screen. That is just not something you should be doing. You should always be wrapping up this grip every single time you're using it. I have figured out if you do wrap this grip in a clipcord cover or some plastic wrap, and then do some fancy wrapping with your grip tape, you can leave a little peephole to be able to see the screen, which does take a little bit more time than just wrapping up the grip, but if you do need to see your voltage, then this is the problem solved. Tattooing with this grip is really nice because of the weight of it. It brings the weight more so to the front of your hand and offsets any weight that would be on the back of your hand due to using a heavy machine. Usually I'm using disposable grips, which are very light, and sometimes that can make your wrist strain faster. With the heavier grip, it basically brings the weight closer to your fingers and the tip of the needle, and then the center of balance is right over the top of the center of your hand. Even though I did mention that you're able to wrap the grip to be able to see the digital screen, this is not something that I do. In order to wrap the machine, I'll put it down a clipcord cover, making sure to cover it fully. I'll tape the clipcord cover to itself, making a barrier around the full tip of the grip. Before I wrap it with grip tape, I will set the voltage to a starting voltage and remember that number as a reference point. And once I do that, then I'll wrap it fully in grip tape for a more comfortable grip. I'll pop a hole in the tip of the grip for my cartridge, and it's ready to go. Now the voltage number is just a reference point. I more so tattoo off of the way that the needle feels while it's hitting the skin and not the actual voltage number. So not seeing the voltage number really isn't a big deal for me, and I don't really see that being a huge issue for other people either. I completely forgot to mention this while I was filming, but these cables that they send with this grip are incredibly flimsy. Every time I clean them, I feel like I'm just gonna rip these apart. So I can't speak for how long these cables will last. Here's a comparison between these and the FK Irons RCA cable that I've been using for about 3 years now. You can tell the difference in the thickness and the quality. I would be gentle while cleaning these definitely don't be ripping at them because I think they might break. The first time I tattooed with this grip, I probably shut it off about 35 times in the first hour of tattooing because of where the power button is on the grip. And this was incredibly frustrating. I switch around the way that I'm holding my machine while I'm tattooing a lot. This way I'm able to get the most effective angle for me to be able to put the ink into the skin. For the first couple of minutes, I would be mindful of where the power button was and not to press it. But then after a couple of minutes, you get into the zone while you're tattooing and you forget. And all of a sudden your machine shuts off. After a while, I did end up rotating the grip in the vise away from my thumb, closer to my pointer finger, and that did kind of cut down on the amount of times that I was shutting off the machine. But even then, I was still hitting it with my pointer finger now, no longer my thumb. Not only that, when you rotate the grip in your vise, the top of your cartridge isn't where it usually is, which is kind of awkward and annoying. For me, the buttons and the screen on the actual grip is a really good idea in theory, but in the real world while I'm tattooing, it made my experience really frustrating and unnatural. I would like to see disposable tips for these for both the standard and cartridge versions. I think it would just make for a cleaner and easier process. I did only use this grip for small to medium sized tattoos. I didn't want to chance my grip dying in the middle of the tattoo and me have to unwrap my machine and put a new grip on. That is a small inconvenience, but at the same time, not really something I want to deal with mid-tattoo. The longest amount of time that I tattooed with this grip was about 2.5 hours, and there's probably about 25% of battery left. Overall, I do think that the battery grip is a really good idea. I do think there needs to be some upgrades in order for me to recommend this for everyday long-term use. If you do want to mess around with it for small to medium-sized tattoos, it is a really fun piece of equipment to mess around with, but it can be really frustrating to operate. Wireless tattooing is something that's really awesome because of the freedom that it offers you, and I'm really excited to see companies exploring and innovating this direction. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any other equipment you want to see me review, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. But besides that, I hope that you have a good day.